Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. 4,000 subscribers. Holy shit. Thank you guys so much for all the support. And it's kind of crazy because I just sit here and I talk. And I've made 2 edited videos and that's it. And I'm at 4,000 subscribers. So I guess I do have an interesting perspective. You know, I've always thought that, but then now I'm like, oh wait, that's actually true. So, yeah, thank you guys for all the support over the past, 6 or so years of this channel being up. And, like I said, I'm never going to stop. There'll just be times where I'm slowing down or whatever, or, I can't make a video for a month or so, just some stuff like that. But I don't intend on stopping because I love Star Wars and I love talking about Star Wars and I love being a part of the Star Wars community. So, without further ado, we have some things to discuss today. Number 1. Absolute number 1 first discussion of the day. Vader Episode 2 Echoes of the Jedi. I was at the premiere in Glendale, California, Look Dine-In Cinemas. Mind-blowing shit. The fact a fan made that, funded that, produced that, wrote that, directed that, one person, and then of course you had an exorbitantly talented group of artists who, helped animate the movie, and exorbitantly talented voice actors. T.C. Carson, the voice actor of Mace Windu from Star Wars The Clone Wars, is the voice of Mace Windu in this. Kind of a big deal. Jesse Gomez, amazing as Darth Vader. Like, Gower Sun, amazing score. He's the brother of Samuel Kim. Amazing score. And I heard all those little hints in there that I guess Theory didn't even pick up on. I don't know if it was even intentional. But I did hear Baylan Skoll's theme at one point, and I thought that thematically matched what was going on. And I don't know if Gower Sun did that on purpose or not, but Theory had no idea. He was like, what? Which was kind of funny. But, yeah, like, seriously, the visuals, it was so dense and stylized and photoreal, and, like, the lighting was so perfect on every shot. The CGI was crisp, like, state-of-the-art, studio level CGI work. Like, that was the best of the best CGI that is out there. I mean, it was so pristine and perfect. So as far as production quality and costume design and production design, all that stuff was perfect. The only thing that I slightly have an issue with is kind of the story, just because he's really stretching out, because the whole core idea of this is Mace Windu and Darth Vader confronting each other, and Mace Windu surviving. That's like the core of this, I believe. And Episode 1 obviously had nothing to do with that. We spent a lot of time in Vader's head, and it helped establish where Vader's character was going forward, which was great. However, the production quality on the first one, it was live action, and he had a way lower budget on that one than this one. So it's not great. It looks, the production quality, it's at times can be really rough. But when the clones attack Vader and that, like, vision, that's great. But, outside of that, It kind of looks, yeah, it definitely looks like, a fan film. But, not that it's bad. I mean, it looks better than a lot of other fan films, but I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say it looks perfect. It doesn't. Which is why he's literally going back and reanimating it, because it's like, because he knows it just doesn't match, and I'm sure he'll change some things, just how George would. But in the second one, there's a lot of just dead room where we're just watching people walk, or we spent way too much time with the clones. I feel like when they're like talking about Mace Windu and like, oh, we know this already. We established this already. Like, I feel like we could have skipped that. We could have at least started the fight. That way it gave people some kind of like hype at the end, and then cut off and said, Vader Episode 3 is coming, later. That would have been a much more fair approach, I feel like, and a better approach than kind of the approach that was taken, which was, we're gonna just edge you for the entire fucking film until the last scene where they're getting ready to fight, and then we're gonna roll the title card and then make you wait however many years for the next one. It's like, god damn it, dude. Like, we did not need a lot of that extra shit with the clones. We didn't. It was cool, but we didn't need it. It was not absolutely necessary. And I think we could have at least gotten into the fight. They could have paused mid-fight. Like, Vader and Mace are in like a saber lock, and they're staring each other down, and then it goes, you see a big, like, and then it goes, Vader Episode 3. Right? Like that. Something like that. I feel like would have been a much better ending. And it would have kept the pace nice, too, and it wouldn't have felt as much like more exposition. Because the whole entire first film is exposition. Right? So we already had that. We didn't need more exposition. Like, we get it. We know what's going on. Mace is here. There's some Jedi here. Right? The important stuff that they add is when Vader and Mace are talking to each other. And that's the best part of the film. So when Vader and Mace are talking to each other. And we get more plot details. That's great. That makes the story keep going. But again, like I said, we already know how big of a threat Mace Windu is. I don't need to hear clones talking about it for 10,000 years. Like, okay, I know. Let's go. Keep moving. And then they're like, oh. It's like, guys, let's go. Please, God, like, I don't know. So I guess it's not really story. It's pacing. I have pacing issues with it. Because the story is great. Like, the plot is great. The concept of this film is incredible. And I love all the new characters. The Jedi characters. What's his name? The guy who was gonna train Source Bandim. That's my favorite new Jedi character. His name it starts with I think a V or something. Vero? Yeah, Vero. I could just tell looks like a really intriguing character, and he gives off Anakin a little bit in his aggression and his passion and his highly emotional kind of attitude. And Vader does this cruel thing where he, rips the saber out of his Vero's hand and kills Vero's master with it. So now Vero's like, I wasn't strong enough to, I wasn't strong enough to stop that saber from going and killing my master. That's what he's thinking inside. So it drives his anger more. And that's what Vader's doing. He's looking for all these, like, apprentices. He's like, which one's going to be better? Because, in the Old Republic, the Sith trials they basically pit a bunch of these kids in an arena, and they just fight each other and kill each other, and then whoever was standing would be like the next like that's how it was. It was disgusting. Like it was the Sith are the Sith. Like they were nasty. Till Darth Bane came along, it was a full on just like dark evil cult. Not that they weren't cool, you know. I'm not one of those weird ass people who are like, the Sith are evil. I want nothing to. It's like Darth Malgus. Really, you're gonna look at Darth Malgus and go, I don't want any of that. Really, he's a badass. Darth Malgus, Darth Vader, Maul, Dooku. I mean, all my favorite characters are Sith, bro. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I don't like them. I like them, but I do recognize they're bad. They're bad people, you know, and they are extremely flawed. And that's the whole point of them existing, is George showing us this is what happens when you know, make these decisions, right? So, or when you think you're this, but you're really not, you know? Like, Dooku is really just a fucking tyrant, and he thinks he's some democratic, better alternative to the Republic, and he's not. He's just handing everything to greedy corporations instead of having people bicker. And he's like, I don't want the bickering. I'll just hand it off to greedy Newt Gunray and fucking Wat Tambor, right? Like, or Sand Hill. Like, that was his solution. It's like, bud, that's not smart. However, I do think Dooku has vision. I think he is kind of a visionary in a way regarding, like, I think his execution for what he wanted to do was stupid, but the idea of him wanting an alternative to the Republic and the way his attitude was about that, like, he was very calculated, he's admirable. Dooku is an admirable person, I'd say. He has very admirable traits. He just wasn't very self-conscious to what he slowly became, you know, so. Yeah. Now, as far as Darth Vader's character, right, at this point, we're right after Revenge of the Sith. His whole thing is trying to bring Padme back, and he is not accepting the fact that he was completely just fucking lied to. He's like, nope, there's gotta be a way. There's gotta be a way. Like, he lied to me about it being this easy, but I know there's a way. So his whole thing is just trying to find a way to bring her back, and that is what drives his character entirely, is the tragedy of him being the cause of her death, and him basically just waking up to what he has driven himself to, which is hell, practically. He's trapped in this suit. He has no limbs. He's barely alive in there. He's created this evil empire. He's, you know, fucking destroyed all of the Jedi, all of the good in the galaxy has been just snuffed out and destroyed, right? Like, he's just realizing, wow. And that kind of wow is really bad for him. And then at that point, he's starting to just give up into being the Sith we see in A New Hope, to where he's just like, you know what? I'm going to just roll with it. Fuck it. I fucked up. There's no hope coming back to this. And then his son is the one who helps him realize there's hope. And then we have the Return of the Jedi, and Anakin comes back. And yes, for any casuals watching, Return of the Jedi is about Darth Vader coming back to the light. It's not about Luke. Fun fact. But anyways, yeah, so another one of my favorite scenes from Vader Episode 2 was where he's walking through the halls, and I believe, I don't totally know, and I wanted to ask Theory more about this, but then I forgot. But basically, he gets this vision of, like, the whole place on fire, and he sees, like, this glowing soul of Padme, kind of like what I think is Padme. I don't know, maybe it's not. Like, kind of glowing around the place, and he's like, basically, and then when it all goes away and he breaks out of it, he's like, the Jedi, these tricks won't work on me, whatever, something like that. So I think Mace implanted those visions in his head, but I'm just wondering how. I'm like, how? What ability is that? Because Shatterpoint, that's like, I was thinking, okay, what unique abilities does Mace Windu have? Shatterpoint is an ability that could be used to sense the significance of an event and find a weak point, whatever. So Mace could maybe have a vision like that, but I'm like, how did he make Vader have a vision like that? Maybe I don't, I'm just curious. I'm not saying theory's wrong. I'm just wondering how exactly, like what that is. But that was a really cool scene. That was, I think, visually the best looking scene. Like, there's this rain and fire and smoke, and like that was a visual spectacle. That was where I was like, this is crazy. That moment, I was like, holy crap, this is beyond fan film. And the scene where the clones are running out of the gunship too, I was like, dude, this is crazy. And again, I know that's not a gunship, but I forget the name of the fucking ship. It is from Clone Wars, I know that, but it isn't a Republic. It's not an LAATI gunship. I know, okay? So yeah, I really enjoyed it. Obviously, like I stated, I have my own gripes with the pacing and the ending, and I think he could have at least rewarded us with a little bit more, just a snippet of that fight for the 8 years we've had to sit and wait. But I get it. He wants people to run to episode 3. I understand. It's smart. It's the best, it's the most smart marketing move. Like, I get it. I understand. That way everyone is like, oh, well, we get to see the fight now. So, okay. He did say some cool stuff, like Mace and Vader are gonna fight each other at the tomb, Padme's tomb. Mace is gonna draw him there. Like, that's fucking cruel. That's nasty. That's some nasty shit. And he's gonna say, and he said, what did he say? Your dead wife and your mother? I was like, yo, like, Mace is like, he's gone, bro. That guy is full menace mode, dude. BMF all the way. Like, he is, bro, he's done with Vader shit. And he kind of is the last Jedi at this point. Obi-Wan's hiding on Tatooine to take care of Luke. Yoda's hiding on Dagobah. He's the last one still fighting. The last main, Jedi still fighting. So I'm very curious to see what happens to him, if he dies or not, or if, I don't know. I think Vader could beat him. Vader's gonna get wrecked. He's gonna be freaking so damaged. Like, Force Unleashed, final boss fight level damaged, maybe even more. Like, he's gonna be fucked. But I do think that he'll pull through, because Vader's Darth Vader. It's like, he survives everything because he's the GOAT. But anyways, that's Vader episode 2. Loved it. It was cool. I just wish the pacing was a little different. Anyways, so now I have some questions from y'all recently that I've received on Instagram. First was, what did you think of Spider-Man? Since the entire fucking universe is watching this movie for some reason. I'm very meh on it. I don't think it was terrible, but I don't think it was good. Because the paid product placement every 5 seconds, the Yelena and Peter in a hot tub scene, like, what the fuck, dude? And the just plot holes and all the conveniences, like, oh, Ned ends up walking into this cafe where it's like all that kind of stuff. I was like, oh my god, like, this is so shitty. And then, like, all the really emotional beats were just condensed to a scene. You didn't feel it across the whole movie. It was just like, little, really great scene, slop, really great scene, slop, right? And it's like, and then the montage from the trailer, that was it. That was what was in the movie. You didn't see any of that. Tombstone had like 10 seconds of fucking screen time. Like, all that stuff was just as short in the movie. It's like, really, dude? Really? I will say, though, Frank Castle carried the movie. If Frank wasn't in the movie, if the Punisher was not in this film, it would be just as bad as the first two in his trilogy. If not worse. Like, the Punisher saved this movie from hell. I'm telling you, dude, that dynamic was great. I was all there for that. That was awesome. My favorite scene was the Hulk versus Punisher in Spider-Man. That was like straight out of Lego Marvel Superheroes. I was like, this is Marvel. This is what I want to see. And then it ended. And I was like, fuck, dude. Like, really? And then we were back to the shit. And then Jean Grey stopped being a menace. First of all, her character is simplified to fucking hell. She's just like, oh, Pete. What was her thing? Oh yeah, they took my sister and I need to get revenge on these people and blah blah blah. Oh my god, how many times have we seen that shit, okay? And then she's turned to goodness by Peter saying, I'm here for you. The fuck? Like, what is... It's so lazy. That's really what it was. It was like lazy ass writing. Like, really lazy writing. Because I don't think it was the direction necessarily. I think it was just written really poorly and edited really poorly. Like, the editor should have... I mean, this does kind of lean into direction, though, but there's so much in there that should have been cut out or scenes that should have been swapped around. Like, it was just... It was a mess, to be honest with you. But again, I do like some of the messages of the film, but there was just so much goy slop that was in the midst of it. Like when they have him be in a crop top with the, like, you know, pants that say juicy on the ass, and like that's just some, like, oy vey, like, goy slop. Like, I was not here for that. I was like, all right, dude, we know you're trying to, like, make this shit look like it's funny and not a big deal and weird. You know, you know, they're pushing their whole thing. But yeah, I just, it felt so corporate at times, and Sony was just all over it. I just felt Sony's fucking aura on it, and I was like, oh god. Because Disney turned away from all that stuff, and you know, a lot of the other studios have not yet, but that was just, I don't know, it's like a 5 or 6 out of 10 for me. I didn't like it very much. I'll probably see it again just to, like, make sure that wasn't a weird watching experience, or just to make sure, but yeah, I'm not a big fan. The Odyssey was peak, bro. What are your thoughts? Dude, the Odyssey, okay. So Spider-Man's here. The Odyssey is off my screen. It's beyond this frame. The Odyssey was a 10 out of 10 film. I know everyone whines about the casting. How the fuck do you watch that movie and then go, oh, the casting's so bad? It's like, race wasn't the only thing that Nolan didn't be accurate to. He had the Lystrogonians in plated armor. Plated armor did not exist back then. Like, there was all sorts of things that weren't era accurate, because that's not the point of the fucking movie. It's a modern retelling of an ancient tale. And it says something about the world we live in. So in 1,000 years, when they're still talking about the Odyssey, or 100 years, whatever, they'll be like, oh yeah, and this was the version during this time, and these things are in it because during this time, these things were prevalent. That's why these things are there. It's not because he's trying to disgrace a culture, or... That's not the point. He just took a different approach. He wasn't taking a historical approach. If he took a historically accurate approach, it would be so boring. Because you know what? Those monsters probably weren't fucking real. Because it's a story and a tale. So what do you mean historically accurate? It's like, people are so just, it's like they hear something in an echo chamber and then they hear it enough and then they just start repeating it and repeating it. It's like, dude, stop. Yeah, the writing was phenomenal. The soundtrack was, I've never heard anything like it because that was actually his, like, time accurate, kind of. And, you know, I think there were some synths, but, you know, it's Ludwig Göransson. He loves his synths, which I don't mind. And it fit the movie. But still, you know, the soundtrack was amazing. The writing was amazing. The direction was amazing. I loved, I loved Odysseus's character a lot. And what he went through and how he kind of realized that he had become the one thing that he swore to protect his people from, and how it kind of broke him a little bit, and he was like, we are the bad guys. Well, there's no bad guys coming. We are the bad guys. You know, I thought that whole thing of that kind of just self-conscious kind of attitude, and how he came back and he saved people from the evil suitors who were like corrupting his kingdom with debauchery and violence, and you know, he saved the day, and then he's like, you know what, but we also are just like them and we need to get the hell out of here, and they left, and then the kingdom was to start anew. Great. And all the other characters, Telemachus was great. I know a lot of people like didn't like his character, but I liked this character. He's just this amateur kid who's trying to learn how to be a man. Great. John Bernthal's character, great. I really like Travis Scott's character. He's like the I don't know how to describe it. Like, there's very much an archetype. He's like the wise bard that like tells the tales. He's the wise old man who, like, you know, except Travis Scott wasn't old, but you know what I'm saying? Like, he's like the older person who retells these stories that have occurred in the past, whatever. Cool, great. I loved what the blind guy. That was great. He was great. Like, every single character. Athena was awesome. And that twist they did at the end there, where they revealed she was Athena, you didn't totally know. And then at the end, you know, when Odysseus cuts the statue's head off and then she died, it's like she goes away. That was awesome, right? Like, all these things were great. The visual effects were incredible. You know, they're all practical effects too, which was cool. The Cyclops was even practical. Obviously, he didn't look that nice. They, you know, fixed him up in post and added probably like a CG like model on top of him, but his movements and everything, that was all real. Yeah, I mean, absolutely incredible movie. 10 out of 10. I think that's one of the best, probably in the top 20 movies of all time. I mean, that was fucking mind-blowingly good. I loved it. And I'm a huge Nolan fan, too. I really love his style and his direction. And I think he's very similar to George because he approaches, not as much in the technological standpoint, but in the storytelling standpoint, and how he's trying to tell these like modern myths, right? That these tales that kind of, these themes and tales that have already kind of been transcended in time, and Nolan takes them and redoes them in a new modern way, right? Like Batman, right? The Dark Knight trilogy, or Interstellar, or, you know, the Odyssey, Oppenheimer, right? Like, he's retelling all these stories in a modern context, and I think he does a really great job at that. So yeah, I love the Odyssey. What do you think is the best and most effective faction in Star Wars? Good question. The thing is the Star Wars galaxy, it's a beautiful disaster, right? Because it's Star Wars. You want conflict, you want war, you want drama, you want all this stuff. So there's always something going wrong. So there isn't really one that's the most effective. I think when you take away the actions of or what the Galactic Republic became later on, I think the Old Republic, Galactic Republic, I'd say was the pinnacle kind of society you'd want. It's free, democratic, everyone has a voice, it's secure, you have a very, very strong, powerful military, you have Jedi who are very much in positions of defending the peace and being a mediator for the government, right? And they're not involved or controlling the government, but they're, a voice to be like, hey, you should do this or that, and the government might listen to it and adjust to make sure that their society is peaceful and moral. Like, I'd say that is the best, form of government there was. Obviously, by the time of the prequels, the Republic's a fucking disaster. Half the Senate is bought out by the Trade Federation, and then, the Separatists, and, it gets fucked. And then you have Palpatine, who's literally a Sith Lord, controlling the entire Senate, and the Jedi have become politically involved, and now they're involved in politics, which they shouldn't be, and it's a whole fucking disaster, and it blows up, and it turns into fucking the Empire, which is the coolest faction, not the most effective. Because anytime you decide, I'm gonna blow up this planet just to make a point, that's not gonna do well with the people, bro. Or, we're gonna just, you see all these protester people, they're being kind of rambunctious, so we're just gonna kill them to make a point. It's like, bro, okay, you gotta chill and you gotta deal with it in a better way, because if you just kill people like that, if the Empire didn't do that shit, atrocious shit, they'd be my favorite. If the aesthetic, the stormtroopers and Vader and this, if they didn't do the atrocious shit they did, they'd so be my favorite. Because I will say, the Empire, because of how controlling they were, they made sure nobody was being an immoral piece of fucking shit. But they went too far and they became the evil that they were protecting against. So it's like, bro, really? But yeah, that's that. Anyways, so like I said, Galactic Republic, Old Republic era is my answer to that question, with the Empire being my Skywalker Saga answer. Kind of like I like the Rebels too, just because of how they're fighting against a massive machine, and they went I love the concept of that, and I love X-Wings and stuff, but low key, right? Once you're done fighting that war, what now? You've just caused fucking chaos. Okay, you won, but now what, right? They're I can't count them as a faction, because they're just kind of like a militia. They're there to fight. They're like an army, I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, Zane, I'm a new content creator in the space, and I get in a lot of hate lately. Do you have any advice on how to deal with that? Oh my god. Do I have advice for being hated on? Bro, you came to the perfect person. Oh my gosh, you came to the perfect person. So, here's the thing, right? The first thing you need to do is ask yourself, why do these people not like me? And if you did anything wrong, you need to apologize and you need to try to change. And if you do those things and you say you're sorry and you want to be an adult about it and you want to move on, but then they continue to go after you, then that's when you need to just cut them off entirely, right? So apologize, be the bigger person, be the better person. And if they're going to choose to still act like children, then you need to block them on social media, cut out any interactions you have with them in person. You need just cut them out of your life entirely, because that means that they think they have a victory over you by you apologizing and saying all this shit. They think that they have leverage over you, and that now that they can control you and control what you say. So, and if you say anything they don't like, they'll try to use it against you to try to destroy you. And it's like, you have to set boundaries. You have to say, hey, I do apologize for what I did, but at the same time, I'm not going to let you guys be the be-all, end-all of what I say and who I am as a person, you know, or I'm not going to let you guys use me as a jester clown to poke at and make fun of, so I'm removing you. And then they're like, oh shit, this wasn't what I thought. This wasn't the easy little, you know, control game that I thought it was. He really did something that affected our relationship, you know. Then you move on from there. You know, if it's truly a thing with people you know personally, then that's the best way to go about it. Is like, it's really up to them. It's like, if you do nothing wrong, and then you need to defend yourself, fight for yourself, protect yourself, never attack, only defense. That's the thing, because once you attack, then they have shit on you. Only defend, protect yourself until it comes to some kind of conclusion. And from there, again, if they choose not to grow from it and they choose to still be immature children, then you need to cut them off. It's the same thing. So it's really about how they respond to your defense or your change. That's what I'd say, is if they're going to choose to act like children and continuously attack you and continuously fucking rip apart every word that comes out of your mouth and try to be, you know, thought police, then you shouldn't have to deal with that as a human being. You shouldn't have to live with that. We live in if you live in America, I don't know where you live. If you live in America, this is a free country. It does have free speech, and you're allowed to say whatever you want. And you shouldn't have someone else, you know, walking all over you and treading on you and telling you what to say and what to think. Because that's not what this country is. And there's a virus of this kind of thought police people on every side of the political spectrum that are out there, and they try to tell you that their side's the only side, and that they treat their political side like it's the Bible, you know, and like whatever they say is the way to live. And it's like, no, it's not. I reject that entirely. You know, like, I'm a Christian and I have more conservative values, and the world despises that and they hate that about me. And anytime I express my faith or I'm explaining something to someone, they rip it out of context and they try to tell me that I'm some kind of evil person or some terrible person. Or then they use all the terms that they always use, the ists and the phobes and the you're a Nazi or Hitler, all that kind of bullshit. You know, so it's like, you gotta just breathe and, you know, be the better person. Just be the better person. Think, am I being aggressive or spiteful or obnoxious by doing this? Or am I doing this acting like an adult? And if you can tell yourself, I'm being the wiser, better person, or I'm being a wise person by doing this, then do what you need to do, right? And if it gets really bad, they start threatening you. I've had this happen to me. They start threatening you, whatever. Just know you have an entire police force. You have lawyers, attorneys, that you have all these resources that can help you. And if you really did nothing, and obviously there is corruption, so depending on if you said certain things, you know, that's a whole wormhole. But for the most part, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You know, I can't guarantee that, you know, you'll get those friendships back, or you'll get, you know, whatever thing you wanted but you'll at least be able to officially have the truth written in law, for you or something like that. So always be prepared. Always be prepared to defend yourself. Because whenever you speak your mind, when you're a free thinker, that does come with, as freeing and amazing it is, and I'd never trade my free thought for anything, it obviously, as everything does, comes with some things that you don't really want, which some of them are being absolutely hated, getting your words twisted, getting too emotional about things, and then feeling like you have to say something or else you're being a conformist. These are all things that we have to go through as free thinkers, and it's like you grow through it and you learn, right? And that's the thing, is now is the time to learn. You want to learn all those things and jump through all those hoops as early as you can so it doesn't fuck up your life going forward. Because unfortunately, we live in a world where you're not allowed to talk about certain things or have certain opinions on certain things, or else you'll get your entire career destroyed. That's just the world we live in, and you have to adapt to that for the meantime until things change. And if you want to be some kind of activist, fighter, warrior, rebel about that, you can be. But all I'm saying is it will take up a lot of mental space, and you'll start to lose yourself, and it's not worth it. Because at this point, dude, you'd need an army to stop a regime change, literally, from the inside out, to stop the kind of bullshit that we're having to live through and deal with on a daily basis. So that's nothing you can do by yourself. It's not. At all. Even when people try to tell you that, oh, you can do it on your own, you can't. You could inspire people, maybe, to join you, but you can't do it by yourself. That's not possible. Anyways, so that's that. Just stay strong, brother. I'm there for you, and I feel you, dude. Trust me, I feel you. I understand. I know a lot of times we're like, don't say you understand. I get it. I get being hated on, it sucks. It really is. And then you have to live in the world knowing that you have enemies. And that's a shitty feeling. Like, yeah, I wish everyone could just be my friend. I do. I wish that was the case. But unfortunately, there's a lot of evil people out there. And as a Christian, I cannot be friends with evil people. And I cannot be associated with them. And I do my best to be compassionate, to be kind, to try to tell myself they're not evil, and then it ends up they are. And it's like, well, sucks. Again, I'm still never going to attack them. I'm never going to attack them. I do have to, vent my feelings to people sometimes, to my friends, to whatever. But I'm never going to do anything that is going to be, to attack them personally. Because that's not the way. That's not the way at all. It's not the way to go about things. Because all that will do is backfire and bite you in the ass. So, yeah, good luck with that shit, dude. Seriously, it's fucking hell. It's such fucking hell. It's the worst thing ever. Because then they start, once you, when you're so base, like me, when you're so, just honest about everything, then they start making shit up. That about you, that you never did, that has zero basis in reality. They literally make up stories, and they try to say these people are relentless, dude. They're relentless, they're evil, they're cruel, they're disgusting. And that's why I said you want to just cut them off. That way, there's distance, and because they will just, if they feel like it, they'll just make some shit up about you and turn half of the world against you off of a lie. Because that's all they're good at, is because you have something in you that reminds them of their wasted potential, of their wasted goodness, or their wasted faith, or whatever. And the devil goes in and they say, no, 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 you shouldn't be thinking about that. Remember, you're on my side. And he goes, and then they go in response. They try to attack you. It's just age-old shit. It's God versus devil. Literally. That's what it comes down. Everything comes down to that at some point. It's literally everything. So that's why this is so important, guys. Anyways, what's the latest piece of merch you got? Oh my god, let me show you this. This is so sick. It's a Mandalorian Death Watch Super Commando helmet. How cool is this? I got it from Galaxy's Edge and Doc Ondars. It's a Disney Parks exclusive. It's sick, dude. And look, they even recorded voice lines specifically for the product.
Your tricks won't save you, Jedi. Your greed made you weak. Your greed made you weak. From Mandalore reborn, by blood and by maul. Your armor won't save you. Your greed made you weak. Jetpacks engaged. Burn them out of the sky. Clan loyalties. End today. Your tricks won't save you, Jedi. Protect the sky. Protect the throne. Maul chose us because we are stronger.
Like, how sick is that? And it's so perfect. It's so perfect and on character. Let me put this shit on. Hold on. Like, dude. Really? Like, this is sick. Oh my gosh. So cool, dude. Yeah. So that's the latest thing I've purchased. Awesome. I love it. It's cool. Fine addition to my collection. Dude, I have so many helmets now that, like, I have Kylo's Vader's, First Order Stormtrooper, Mando Super Commando, I have Din Djarin's, I have an Iron Man Mark III helmet, I have the 501st Clone Trooper helmet. Like, I don't even have room. And I have Luke's pilot helmet that's up there because I don't have room. My whole frickin' shelf is full. So I have Mando and the Clone Trooper on their boxes in the corner. Like, they're just sitting on top of the boxes. And then Iron Man's is just displaced now. I have it on top of the Super Commando helmet because I moved the Iron Man helmet to put the Super Commando helmet there because I, like, fit the, you know, it's all Star Wars now. So I'm like, I don't know. But I love Iron Man, so I want it to put it somewhere with significance, but I just don't have room. So it's like fucking, oh my god, such a disaster. But I had to complete my dark side helmet. Like, it's so evil. Like, it's just pure Sith. Like, dude. So cool. And then I have Star Wars frames. I still need to do the second part. Because I think the prequels, right? I need to do the second part of that. I can still do that. I should still do that. Maybe next video. And I have the Story of Marvel Studios next to it. Those are two huge book collections. I have my rosary. It's cool. I have a custom cutout of Anakin. Not cutout, like wood burning of Anakin. It's cool. Anyways. Favorite Disney Park Star Wars ride? Okay. This is one thing where I don't have a direct answer. Star Tours still. I still like Star Tours is the most Star Wars feeling one. Well, maybe Falcon. It's one of the two. It's one of the two. Because now Falcon would never have been before, but now that you can go to Coruscant and Death Star 2 wreckage and Bespin and Mando and Grogu are flying with you, and you know you start on Tatooine. Okay, like that's starting to get there, but to me, like Star Tours is still like you get to be in the moment of those battles, right? Like you get to be in the Battle of Hoth from the movies. You're there, or you get to be in the Battle of Coruscant, right? Like you're in those moments, and that's what's so cool about it. And there's all this variety, and you never know what you're gonna get, and there's all these, like it's the most, it's crazy. It was a revolutionary attraction. Obviously, Rise of the Resistance would win for scale and technology, and I mean that ride is just amazing. And nothing against Rise of the Resistance, it's just the variety of Star Tours and the classic George Lucas kind of early 2010s vibe that it gives. Like it's the best. It's that I don't know, man. I don't think they're close. I mean, the other two are close, but it could be just nostalgia bait. But bro, it's amazing. Anyways, so that's gonna do it for this Saadelive. This was a really great one, actually. I loved all these questions. Yeah. So that was cool. So I'll see you soon, guys. Leave a like, subscribe, share, etc. And I'll see you in the next video. It was fun. May the Force be with you always. And make sure to check out Vader Episode 2 on YouTube if you haven't yet, because I want you guys to watch it and give me your thoughts on my Instagram, which is directed by Zayn Saade. Directed by ZAYNSAADE. All together, no caps. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.